guys, my name is Genevieve Lage. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Genevieve Satya. Today I'm gonna be sharing with you guys about my struggle with mental illness, depression, and anxiety. It's funny because I've had different ideas on what to vlog on this week. I actually attempted to make a vlog earlier this week, and due to my depression and anxiety, I wasn't able to really accomplish it. I wanted to make a vlog about what I eat in a day as a vegan, and I had the whole thing planned out. The day came and I just really wasn't feeling it. I felt like I was forcing myself to do something, and it wasn't that I didn't want to record what I was eating, it's just like I didn't have the energy that day. And you know, that's a result of my depression. Sometimes I wake up and I don't want to do anything, and I just want to stay in bed, and I don't really see the point of doing anything or accomplishing anything. I really, for some time, was beating myself up over it, put these really high expectations on myself to like wake up really early and like, you know, film my whole day, and I didn't do that, and so it made me feel shitty. But at the end of the day, I realized that I'm only putting these expectations on myself, and it's just causing me more sadness and more disappointment in myself. And this is just a way to express myself through social media, and there's no timeline, there's no agenda. I'm trying to be as authentic and transparent and just go with the flow. I kind of just decided to hold off on that idea of what I eat in a day as a vegan. So yeah, then I was inspired actually by my mom, because I was like telling her that I was feeling really bad about myself and that I didn't accomplish this vlog. And you know, she kind of inspired me to just be honest with my audience and share about that, and share about what I'm dealing with on a daily basis, which is depression and anxiety. You know, some days are better than others. People are surprised when I tell them I have depression and anxiety, especially because I'm a very like outgoing, very energetic, positive person. But it all goes on in here, and no matter how a person is acting, you don't know what's really going on in their head. And it's not in a way that like I pretend that I'm okay. I mean, sometimes I do pretend I'm okay, but for the most part, you know, I do feel okay. But when I don't, I voice that. You know, I let people know that I'm not okay. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that willingness to ask for help and to just be vulnerable with people. There's such a big stigma with mental illness. You know, that's kind of what inspired me to do this vlog as well, to just like let people know that it is a real illness, and if you are going through it, don't feel ashamed, and don't feel like there's nothing you can do about it, because there is something you can do about it, and it's just a matter of asking for help. But I'll get into that a little later. I feel like a lot of people think it's not really an illness just because you can't really see it, but it can be just as debilitating as cancer, heart disease. It's a real illness, and I think every day, like especially in our generation, I feel like people are becoming more and more aware of it and educating themselves about it, which I'm really excited about, because I think for a long time people have suffered with mental illness and they didn't even know it. And you know, I was one of those people, and I feel like a lot of people just don't want to voice where they're at. They don't want to ask for help. They don't want to tell people that they're struggling. That is a really dangerous place to be. It actually has led to many deaths, you know, because people become suicidal and they think they're completely alone in this world. And we need to talk about these things. We need to talk about our feelings, and we need to bring to light the nature of our situation and ask for help. I feel like the more that we talk about these things, the closer we get to a solution. Feeling bad, feeling negative emotions is a human thing. It's part of the human experience. There's no avoiding it, and if you do try to avoid it, in the long run, you're gonna end up really unhappy. Other things can manifest, like addiction or even physical illness. So, you know, my mental illness, I think, started when I was a child, even though I wasn't really aware of it. As a child, I was extremely anxious, extremely fearful. I remember not wanting to go to school and crying before school to my parents and just being like, please don't let me go in there, because I was so scared of being away from my parents. I also had a huge fear of death. Once I found out death was a thing, I freaked out and I never wanted to be away from my loved ones, and I had really, really bad anxiety. You know, nothing really happened in my childhood that I can say is why I have depression and anxiety. I had a really good childhood, you know. My family has always been really loving and caring, and, you know, my parents are still together till this day. And, you know, of course, like, there's typical, like, family Cuban dysfunction, but nothing really crazy happened. Going into more of, like, the depression side of it, I had a lot of self-worth issues as a child. I always felt like I was never good enough for anybody. I had trouble making friends and fitting in. I really felt like I didn't belong anywhere, and you know, the friends that I did have didn't really treat me the way a friend should, and I was bullied by, you know, my own friends, and that led me to just think like, wow, I'm not deserving of their friendship. That just played out into like the rest of my life. When I was 14 or 15, I took my first drink, and then for a while after that, drinking and drugging was pretty much my solution to how I was feeling. You know, I chose to escape. I chose to not feel any feelings. From the time that I picked up a drug, I knew that it was my answer to all of my problems. And, you know, it progressed. The rest of high school was just really about partying, and I graduated and moved to Orlando. My motives for moving were just to be on my own and party, you know, and that's exactly what I did. I was on my own for my first time. I had roommates that did the exact same things as me, and, you know, it was just a big party for a couple of years. Oh, hey, Rocky! How you doing? This is my dog, Rocky. So, this went on for a couple more years, and I just tried to get better. I tried to feel better. Drinking helped a lot, but it started not to work anymore, and I didn't understand why I was feeling the way I was feeling, and I just kept doing the same things over and over again. It was a really, really dark place to be. I was not educated in any way about mental illness or addiction or alcoholism. I just thought I was really hopeless and alone, and I didn't think that there was any way out of it. So fast forward, when I was 21 years old, I had hit an emotional bottom, and I asked for help, and I started treatment. I went to rehab. I can say that was by far one of the best decisions I've ever made. I decided that I really wanted to better myself as a person and get better, and so I was honest about where I was at 100%. And, you know, that was 3 years ago, and I've stayed sober ever since. When I first got sober, I was definitely on a high. I just couldn't believe that I was sober and that I was actually enjoying life again, and like I could have fun sober. And I started to build like a community of sober people around me through a 12-step program, and, you know, life was really, really good. But after about a year, I think life just started to happen, and I found myself becoming depressed again. And it was around the time where I got diagnosed with MS. I started to feel really hopeless and really scared, and I couldn't get out of bed, and I was having a depressive episode For a long time I tried to just cure this depression with spirituality, which didn't work for me, and it works for other people, but it just wasn't working for me, and I had to come to terms with the fact that I needed to seek professional help and I needed to see a doctor. When I finally made that decision, things started to look up for me, and I got on medication, and it took a little bit to like find the right one, and I started to feel better. And after about, I think like half a year of that, I decided to stop taking my medication because I was feeling good and I didn't really think I needed it anymore. And so I told my doctor, okay, I want to stop taking it, and he weaned me off. And after that, things were okay for a little bit, but you know, things started to happen, life started to happen, relationships, breakups, you know, health issues, financial issues, and I found myself in a depression again. I think after a few months of that, I decided to start going to see a doctor again, and I also got a therapist. Now, being in active therapy is so key for me today, and I want to talk about that because for the past, I think almost 9 months, I've been seeing a therapist, and she is the best. It took me a while to find the right one. I think that plays a huge part in treating my depression. It's not only the medication, and you know, I feel like there's a lot of different aspects to treating my mental illness. It's not just you know, my medication, it's not just therapy, it's, you know, how I'm treating myself, how I'm talking to myself. Am I talking to myself in a loving, kind way? Am I being compassionate towards myself? Am I taking care of myself? Am I sleeping enough? What am I eating? What am I putting into my body? My eating habits, my exercising habits. You know, yoga has been such a huge game changer for me and to my mental state. And I really think that all of these elements play a huge part in feeling whole and feeling good and not feeling depressed. Now, I don't always feel great today. You know, some days, just like I was mentioning in the beginning of this video, I still feel bad, and I can still get back into that rut of like self-loathing thoughts and like, why are you even trying? What's the point? You're not going to get anywhere. You're a piece of blank. The difference between now and then is like, today I can check myself, I can acknowledge those thoughts and just like let them pass, and I can take action on them. I think spirituality plays a huge part in it as well. I have to stay close to God. My relationship with myself is just as important as my relationship with God, because I truly believe that I cannot have a relationship with God if I don't have a relationship with myself, you know, and a good, healthy relationship with myself. Like how I'm treating myself, how I'm talking to myself. It's just like when people say like you cannot love another person until you love yourself. Like I don't feel like I can love on God if I'm not loving myself. So today, you know, life is pretty good. It's not always rainbows and butterflies. I just try to remain open and honest with the people around me, my friends, my support group, my therapist, my family, about where I'm at on a daily basis, because I really do think that that is so important, to just be transparent with people about how you're feeling, and don't be ashamed about the thoughts in your head, because other people have gone through it. Like I used to think I was so alone in my thoughts, and I'm really not. I'm not. And whenever I voice something, another person in my support system has gone through it, and or something similar to it, and it's just really relieving. And again, I mentioned that I'm so grateful for the willingness to like stay honest, you know. If you're listening to this and you're going through a hard time right now, just know that you're not alone. There is hope out there. There is help out there if you seek the help. What you're going through is valid. I really hope this video helped anybody out there. Like this video and subscribe if you like. And yeah, I'm really happy to have shared this with you guys, and I will see you at the next video. Namaste.